has been happening. So to dispel such type of apprehensions and to give correct pictures, what are the numbers which we got through various key resources, key data sources. That's the reason we are here. And we conducted entire day, key stakeholders meet, wherein we gathered few suggestions and few challenges also. So we have started with cruise tourism, where we call key resource people and key stakeholders, and we have discussed a couple of issues, and they have mentioned about what are the issues, what are the what sort of government intervention is required. So we started with that, and subsequently airport operations and discussions. Airport, we called airport directors of both MUPA and Dabolim also, and we listened to them, and we called various airline operators, directors also, and subsequently we moved on to charter flight operators, how to increase more number of foreign tourists, and we got a couple of information about what are the required support from the government, and subsequently we called beach tourism stakeholder discussion, which includes Shack Association, Goa water sports, lifeguard operations, Goa boat tour, cruises. So, and subsequently we moved on to transport stakeholders, where we called Goa Miles, Colombo Transport, Goa, various taxi associations, and most important and subsequent accommodation industry stakeholder, FHRA, small and medium, and homestay, OTA platforms. All these key stakeholders talked about what are the various challenges, and they have given right pictures. And friends, we would like to present, we would like to mention about, we have been talking about so many negative publicity about Goa tourism. So today we are here to give correct pictures about overall tourist footfall in the year 2024 has demonstrated robust 21% growth, which indicates a very positive and promising trend in Goa tourism sector, which is corroborated by all online travel platforms, aggregators like Booking.com and Airbnb, and in fact Make My Trip also. For them, they have equivocally mentioned that Goa tourism, Goa is a preferred and most preferred destination in India. That's how they have supported our figures also. And to mention about few key highlights, year on year compared to 2023, 2024, total number of tourists visiting has been increased by 21% compared to 23-24. And December to December, few social media influencers again mentioned about there are some completely vacants in roads. But whereas our figures, our statistics shows that December to December growth, again, 54% increase in number of tourists between December 23, December 24. Right? And quarterly growth, again, last quarter, that means October to December, saw a growth of 38% strong end-to-end year growth. Domestic tourist has been risen by 22%, and foreign tourist 3% increase. So that figure shows that it is a strong growth in terms of numbers. And you may ask about what are the key sources of data. And these are the data we compiled from reliable sources like airport arrival data, Konkan Railways, KTCL, other transport operators. So these are all, in fact, to mention in front of you, we have taken these figures lower and not even higher end. So these are all, so all these data shows that there is a robust growth about Goa tourism, and still Goa is a preferred destination. And in fact, these all figures is a testament to popular Goa being a popular destination in all sense. So, in fact, I would like to bring your kind notice. Additionally, Dabolim Airport reported remarkable 27% growth passenger arrival in December 2024 compared to last month of the same year. So, and apart from that, this government focusing on the quality over quantity. Right? So when we spoke about all the domestic and all the key stakeholders like all hoteliers, they have been telling that there are no completely occupancy is highest this year also. So it shows that quality people are, high-end people are preferring Goa. That's how these figures are indicating the same. So apart from that, we have conducted today's key tourism stakeholders conclave because there are some challenges which are pertaining to interdepartmental issues. So my government, my ministry has taken initiative to listen from the key stakeholders what are the various challenges, so that all these feedback we would collect from various key stakeholders, and subsequently we put all these departmental wise, we bring to the Honorable Chief Minister notice, and we are resolved to address those issues one by one in a time-bound manner. So this is the, and we acknowledge, we believe that we are operating in the market forces, right? So we are in the competitive world. So we need to reorient ourselves, and we need to face this stiff competition. At the same time, whatever the challenges are there, we are ready to resolve those issues along with our key stakeholders. With this brief note, once again, thank you for all media friends. Thank you one and all.
A very good evening to all of you. First and foremost, along with my Director Tourism and all the members of the board, Goa Tourism Board, I would first take this opportunity, as we welcome the media, we take this opportunity to thank the media for their role in supporting and promoting Goa's tourism sector. I should take this opportunity for the recognizing the tireless efforts and support received from our Honorable Chief Minister, all our department people, Goa Tourism Development Corporation Chairman and his team, Goa Tourism Board, including all the stakeholders, the Goa tourism stakeholders, the local communities, and all the businesses in maintaining Goa as a premier destination. I should thank the director for briefly presenting the comprehensive data on the tourism footfall in Goa. As he has rightly said, when the whole world was terms of social media influence, it was a situation in the last quarter of the year which caught up, and suddenly the attack came on in Goa. So when we started talking about the footfalls and the numbers, the confusion was, as we knew from the stakeholders that the business is very comfortable, we still didn't know that why this particular suddenly unverified data came in the picture from China Economic Information Center. The whole thing dissipated into various social media influencers, and they always say that any propaganda is a good propaganda. And Goa is a place where anybody using it sometimes can find himself increase his own TRP. So in the last quarter, we have had continuous attacks, out of which we try to first reasonably put things together and answer all the questions put up through social media. We know that there are concerns and issues in any tourism destination you travel, but it is not Goa per se only. And at the same time, we needed to revisit and check what the numbers were. So when it came to December, we had to decide whether to counter and talk about it at that particular time, or wait for our facts, figures, and then talk about it. Talking to the board members and talking to our Honorable Chief Minister, we said we will wait, because the attack would make no difference to the tourist footfalls and tourism in Goa. We have comfortably sailed the year 2024 in terms of the numbers. As we talk about quality over quantity, I would also highlight that the quantity-wise comparison which has been done, and there was various sort of rumors being spread that Goa has no tourists, no tourism in Goa. As briefly our tourism director has shared, he has shared about the year-on-year growth at 21% compared to previous year. He has shared the December to December growth, which has been quite impressive in terms of 54% increase in the number of tourists between December 2023 and December 2024 comparison. The quarterly growth of the last quarter, if we see, it showed a growth of 38%, which showed a very strong end to the year. Domestic tourism, in fact, went up by 21%, reflecting a sustained interest in local travel. Foreign tourism has seen a growth of 3%, the sector which is recovering steadily, and we are definitely optimistic about a further growth in coming years. I would like to highlight very importantly that the last week of December 2024 saw daily flights of 200 flights per day, which is quite a record in the preceding years for the last week of December. At the same time, when we spoke to our OTA platforms, because it was Make My Trip or Booking.com, and when we asked them which was the best leisure destination in India, they boiled out and they announced Goa is the best leisure destination as far as Goa is concerned in terms of the travel. So when we start talking about compilation of social media influence, what has happened in the last couple of months, which somewhere I also use the word toolkits, I would like to put things here together and ensure that we are working here to see these positive trends and the continued interest in our state as a preferred travel destination. I think putting this whole story together will plug the story of the decline. The people who try to put this word decline in Goa tourism, I think we'll be able to put a plug on this particular story. I'm happy to say that Goa is performing much better than the national average. Goa has got great resilience and adaptability in a competitive tourism landscape. And as a year-to-year round destination, we are also looking at increasing off-season business. Today's stakeholders meeting gave an insight on the issues raised. We wouldn't discount the issues raised by certain social media influencers, but as I said earlier, it is always a part of a tourism destination that they have their own challenges. And it is not only Goa to be pinpointed the way it was, but coming here and acknowledging the government acknowledging the issues and wanting to put the things ahead came with this stakeholders conclave today. We have summed up all the issues which will be taken up for the Goa Tourism Board meeting, which will be chaired by the Honorable Chief Minister. After that, we are expecting the Chief Secretary with his Secretary and Directors to have an action plan, which will be presented to the Chief Minister, to me and to the rest of our colleagues who have been there wanting to put things ahead in perspective. Tourism is an industry and not only a department. And tourism, when we get a throwback, whether it is on the taxi, whether it is on the cleanliness, whether it is many things which get highlighted, or the touting, there are responsible departments which work collectively to ensure that we have the best of it for the tourist who comes here for our experience. We need to also accept that there has been a little over-tourism and infrastructure strain. We know that there is overcrowding in North Goa beaches like Baga and Kalangut, which is leading to friction between locals and tourists. We know that there are issues on waste management. We are working towards waste management, public transport, and the cleanliness of the beaches. There are concerns of certain areas where we talk about increasing presence of budget travelers, which create a lot of challenges such as disregard for local rules and culture. But with the enhanced beach cleanliness and facilities to attract quality tourists and understand it's just not a beach issue, we have started working closely with our Honorable Chief Minister to resolve the same. We are wanting to ensure that technology is adapted at every stage. We have had the Goa Miles and the Goa Taxi, which is already there, talking about the transport services in terms of adaptability to technology. And as we recognize certain pockets have complaints about taxis, we also would like to highlight that the taxi, traditionally the taxi fellows have been our ambassadors in terms of a long-term tourist who has been coming every year, who normally takes him along on an annual understanding. So that relationship management which a Goan has been doing with Atiti Devo Bhava, we only need to improvise certain areas which we have started doing with the adaptability of technology. We are looking at making stronger efforts to educate visitors about respecting our own local culture, traditions and boundaries. So as we talk about all these things, we would like to highlight that the Goa government is working with the Goa Tourism Board, which is chaired by the Chief Minister and is already having equal number of representations from the industry and from the government. We are having regular stakeholder meetings, and like in 2024, we have had meetings with airport, railways, shacks, water sports, among others, which we need to put regulations in place. And I can say that we are working ourselves very progressively. Today also we have had a full day conclave with all the stakeholders of the tourism industry of Goa, which our director just highlighted, which will be placed before the Goa Tourism Board. We have to understand that there are challenges which we have taken up with the center also in terms of the issues as far as airfare is concerned, the dynamics of air travel, new connectivity, connecting to emerging markets. Now this is a continuous process. And as we take the recognition of issues that we are facing at the state level, we are pretty sure that whether it is a visa issue, whether it is a connectivity issue, whether it is the fare issue, I think all these issues are in transit. Secondly, as a state, we are being compared to a country. As a state, we have our own restrictions to open sky policies, we have our own restrictions to seat entitlement, we have our own restrictions for the type of things that we need to connect with. At the same time, we cannot be compared with the footfalls of a country like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Vietnam, which have been talking about tourism in a different perspective. We wouldn't want to be Thailand is what I said some time back. And I'm pretty sure that with the 2 airports coming up, with numbers, with a growth potential of 27% at Daboli, I think this should put at rest the issues of people who have been talking and creating rumors about Dabolim shutting down and becoming a ghost airport. When we have these particular 2 airports moving in and an increase not only in numbers, but also looking at both airports investing further in their own infrastructure, whether it's MOPA or Dabolim, it's a very clear trend in terms of understanding that the footfalls are here to increase. Emerging markets connecting, new markets connecting with the trade. We have connected to Poland, we have connected to Kazakhstan, we have connected to Uzbek, and we can definitely see the numbers going out with these charters. Today, as we talk to the charter companies, we have had a lot of brainstorming session had with them to understand what the numbers, how the numbers can increase, which numbers need to be moving up and how we do it. And every place where we are talking about, we need to very clearly say that today, because of the 2 airports, we are connected close to about 30 destinations domestically. Internationally, as we think about increasing, along with Honorable Chief Minister, we have already had meetings with the Civil Aviation Ministry to look at a resolution for more carriers and bigger aircrafts which will be able to land on our shores. According to the Hotel Elevate, Goa has seen substantial growth in terms of new hotel inventories. 770 new rooms added in 2023 just in a category of hotels that they have been tracking. So as we look about registered accommodations, I would also like to highlight that the supply and the demand of hotels, which has led to certain increase in the rates of the hotels, we have been able to, under the ease of doing business, we have been able to register from 3,000 odd hotels in 2022, going up to 9,000 hotels in 2024, increase of 6,000 hotels in different categories. So we are looking at increase in supply so that the demand will be spread and customers will have more options, including homestays. We have different recognitions of the hotels, 4 stars and 5 stars, which showed an occupancy of close to 100% in this year, with a very respectable ARR, average room night rate. So when we are talking about economics, we are talking about the indicators where tourism is one of the biggest contributors to the GDP in terms of 16.43% to the GDP and talking about roughly about 35% of the employment. The issues which have been there is that every hotel has got sold out. So when the tourism industry is in a decline, tourism industry is, there are no tourists in Goa, are some spreads which the influencers try to put across. We also had a great contribution towards F&B. High spending domestic travelers have been definitely driving this food and beverage revenues at premium properties. These emerging trends, when we talk about in Indian tourism, we need to understand that India's booming tourism has led to outbound tourism, with countries which have been eyeing Indian tourism through visa on arrival policies and attractive offers. And for us, tourism is not a zero-sum game. We are working on it. Tourists are taking multiple vacations, and Goa definitely continues to be a favorite among Indian tourists. The Indian middle class, in driving of off-season tourism, is preferring short vacations, and Goa definitely is one of them. We have been adding a lot of more things in our part. When we talk about regenerative tourism, we are the first in the country to talk about regenerative tourism. We have been the first to talk about sustainability. And we, as through these particular 4 pillars of regenerative tourism, of culture, of society, of economics and environment, we have been doing our part to ensure that we promote Goa as a proper premier destination. Promoting sports tourism, promoting cruise tourism, promoting event tourism, making industry partnerships like with Make My Trip, Agoda, Airbnb, Fly91, MasterCard, AIIA, that's the Ayurveda Institute, are some of the things that we have done in the last 2 years. Airbnb, for example, went one step ahead and trained rural women in rural Goa with the support of Department of Tourism, which is allowed them to get skilling in terms of homestay promotions. So our commitment to balancing growth with sustainability through initiatives for waste management, infrastructure enhancement, and awareness campaigns will continue. And as we do this, it is very important that this positivity goes out. So much of positivity is happening in Goa. It was very important to address with you guys as media, also to the online media platforms, because the public perception of what they have tried to make Goa and malign Goa's image is something which we needed to talk about. Today is a day when we are talking here today with facts and figures. So I think as we plug these issues of influencers trying to create a negative impact on tourism, it is very important that the influencers who have been coming to Goa and putting their things together and enjoying Goa also share a reel about how Goa has been good to them. We believe very strongly in Atithi Devo Bhava. The hotel industry and every stakeholder which the director spoke about today, we have had brainstorming sessions, definitely to improvise to where we think we were lagging or we think we needed to improvise on. And it is our endeavor to ensure that we keep working very sincerely to keep Goa as a premier destination. I would also call upon, along with our Chief Minister, I would call upon our opposition, leaders from our opposition also, that instead of criticizing, as far as tourism is concerned, this is one platform we all need to work together. This is one area which contributes to the economy and the employment. And it is always said that once a spoke is always a spoke. But we need to ensure that everyone today, whether media with a smartphone or a media with a bigger platform, is still reporting things. And it is you as a stakeholders or ambassadors and not just the government is also needed to help us to respond to the misinformation and highlight Goa's unique offerings. We have been adopting to technology and we will be working on this. Today's report, as the director has said, is collated. Tomorrow's GTB which will be chaired by GM, by our Chief Minister, will be discussed tomorrow. And then along with our Chief Minister, we'll be calling an interdepartmental meeting to address stakeholders' concerns and implement actionable points. I would definitely want to encourage all the media stakeholders and tourists to join hands in promoting Goa responsibly and positively. I thank you for the continued trust and support in Goa's tourism journey. And thank you to all the tourists, domestic and international, who continue to visit Goa to see you again in this particular year, 2025. Thank you. Any questions?
इससे बड़े पॉलिटिकल कनेक्शन है गोवा को डिफेम करने के लिए
I would request the media to focus more on the on figures and things of how we have been positively putting tourism across. Can you just give a mic, please?
excuse me Mike.
Said, yeah, you've said foreign tourists, the number of foreign tourists has grown by 3%. Why is it compared to other, compared to domestic and other segments, it's grown a little? I mean, why is it such a weak growth for
As per
foreign tourist arrival?
UNWTO report, post-COVID figures, Asia is still to recover at -18%. So as the number of footfalls in the country, that is what I said, the 3% increase is a recovery of about, if I compare my foreign travel in 2019 vis-a-vis now, in spite of the Asia being at -18%, our growth has been better than the national average, and we are at almost 50%, little more than 50% recovery of pre-COVID. So as we have had emerging markets, we were trying to connect to Israel, there was a war. The war in Russia has still not given us the numbers which we were expecting to happen. So there are concerns internationally for the numbers which would normally travel outbound. At the same time, we have started connecting to newer markets which were not there before. With our friends who are in the charter line, We have been connecting to Poland, we have connected to Uzbek, we have connected to Kazakhstan. And this year we look at connecting to many more different countries which are looking at outbound travel. The challenge is the connectivity, which normally when you are comparing us, you should compare us to a state, not to a country. So you are talking about numbers coming into Sri Lanka and you not you per se, but the numbers whoever talks compares the Sri Lanka number to a Goa number. Goa has restrictions in terms of connectivity as an open sky policy, the seat entitlement, and type of flight coming in. So these challenges cannot give us the numbers even if we want to prospectively look at it.
Address these challenges.
Sorry?
How do you plan to address?
We have
these
already
challenges?
started addressing these challenges with the center along with our chief minister. So whether it's the visa on arrival, whether it's the e-visa, the time required to get the e-visa out, things which have been discussed will definitely be taken up to the center afresh with new thoughts, whichever needs to be put with a solution thing to it. And we are definitely positive that along with our chief minister, meeting Honorable Home Minister, the Civil Aviation Minister and the other ministers concerned, we should be able to resolve a lot of issues in terms of international connectivity.
And in terms of investment into tourism sector, how's that? I mean, can you give us some picture?
We should understand the capacity in terms of investments is quite high. Taj is investing further. You have the Oberois coming in. You have the Hilton moving up more places. Taj, in fact, in Goa is roughly having, including AMA, including their own this type of five-star properties, close to about 60 properties in Goa. And further investments coming in Goa is a very clear indicator that the hotel industry will increase its infrastructure, knowing that their demand versus supply, that they have a lot to gain in terms of economics. And that will allow us to create more employment opportunities. So we are very optimistic. All we needed to do is come back with the figures which we have done today. And we didn't want to respond to every social media influencer who took Goa for a ride in the last quarter. The issues raised, well taken, we will address it. But the way they took it up was something which we need to jointly condemn, not only as media, but also as stakeholders of the Goan communities who have been part to the Goan tourism for legacy-wise, right from a taxi brother to a hotel industry, who have been working sincerely towards the tourism industry. Every tourism place has its own things, challenges, as I just said. But this type of things highlighted at that particular level and tried to negate Goa, I think that was a spot on which they tried to catch on, making themselves maybe in that light of taking Goa, using Goa as a hashtag and tagging Goa and trying to get into their famous line. But I think today the figures will plug all these things.
Good evening. This is Gerard here from Hindustan Times. You have given us the figures in terms of percentage from last year as compared to this year. Could you share the actual
2023, 81 lakh 75,460 domestic, 4 lakh 52,702 international, total amounting to 86 lakhs 28,162. In case of 2024, 99 lakhs 41,285 domestic, international 4 lakhs 67,911, total coming to 1 crore 4 lakhs 9,196. And as our director said, we are sharing these figures on a very conservative side, not on a higher side. Very conservatively shared. And these figures are only from airlines and railways, discounting Western Railways and the cars maybe which come into Goa and to and fro.
Another issue that has been raised by is the issue of construction, constant construction, not just of infrastructure projects, but also of fields, of hillsides. Goa is losing its greenery. So was that an issue that was discussed today?
I think the last declared report of the forest cover is roughly we are at about 62% as compared to the other states, which are at whatever. So as you take up this particular subject, today's tourism spoke about progressively talking about how we need to take tourism ahead. And whatever other issues are there, those issues I think we can address along with the Chief Minister.
Good evening. This is Newton Squara from Times of India. I have a follow-up question to what Gerard said actually. A lot of the foreigners that we have spoken about, if you see for the last 10 years, Goa's roads are constantly dug up. First it was the Zuari side, now it's Porvorim. In a couple of years, we will see the roads around Daboli being dug up. So that's a 15-year block of the main connectivity point for any foreign arrival. At which point, there's a kind of fatigue about construction for tourists. How are you going to address that fatigue? Because the tourist is not going to come again.
We have both sides of the coin. When you come to a tourism destination, you need to provide the best services. From media also, you all have complained that tourism destinations need to be improvising on electricity, sewerage, other things. And it is our endeavor that sustainable development takes place. If you talk about before 10 years back, before 2014, you look at those roads connecting north to south and you talk about the roads today. You talk about underground cabling which has started, which is going to cover the whole of Goa, so is sewerage. So in that transit, if you recollect, when Margao, the Zuari bridge was happening, we had similar complaints of Zuari traffic being halted for 2.5 hours. Today you are having a speedy drive from north to south in 30 minutes flat, correct? Similarly, as we talk about Pororim being the most populated area in terms of vehicles, which is also part of my constituency, we are ensuring a daily micro level management with all departments for which traffic is never stuck up. It's a moving traffic. We are moving, opening new artery roads, development is continuous. And we expect that with the coming of the flyover by 2026, first quarter, a lot of streamlining will take place. We have already talked to the Chief Minister that wherever sewerage work has been completed, wherever underground work has been completed, hot mixing has to be done on a priority, especially in the coastal villages where there are roads which have been dug up and need to be done. But when we talk about improvements in garbage, already I think directions have moved. You will find this thing being announced by the Chief Minister maybe in some days or weeks about what has been done in those areas. So whatever has been identified as grey, we want both. We don't want roads to be dug up, but we want the best of electricity. We don't want the water pipelines to be laid, but we want water 24/7. You need to actually appreciate the efforts of the Chief Minister along with his cabinet colleagues and the government working towards development, which has never been seen earlier before 2014. So now if these years we are putting things together, especially as a tourism state, as I agree with you that there are concerns today, but today's concerns are solutions for a better tomorrow. And for what we are talking about increase in terms of inventory, in terms of Goa being a food capital and many things, stories, Goa will remain as a premium destination because there is no better place than Goa for a person to unwind, whether it's for a domestic tourist or international. There is no better place for a fellow who's traveled to Goa earlier in his college days to come and re-look at those nostalgic moments he has lived in Goa. There is no better place for a youth who's got a family and wants to be partying at the same time spend some family time. He will not find a better place than Goa. As a wedding destination and for MICE conferences, Goa has been growing steadily and in the right manner. We are working with the Chief Minister to make Goa in terms of policies as a single destination, single window for weddings and events, which will allow a lot of ease of doing business for the people who are promoting MICE and weddings. So as we start plugging the things which have been there and putting development in perspective to promote tourism, we are also highlighted here the Chief Minister's intervention with departmental secretaries, directors, to take up these concerns which are supporting to tourism. So when we talk about tourism per se on an influencer, he will talk about everything possible on the earth. If I ask the same influencer, whichever tourism destination has he gone, he must have faced certain challenges in those areas also. We also travel, all members sitting here and all of you all, my friends must be traveling domestically or internationally and finding your own challenges in the place where you go as a tourism destination. But that doesn't discount the vastu of that place, which is very strong. And I think the appetite that we Goans as Goinkar have to ensure to give that hospitality which we say is in our blood, nobody can take that from us. We are here and we will be the way we are to promote tourism in the right manner, in a sustainable manner, and keep it as a premier destination with contribution of every stakeholder trying to improvise on the services to make it a better place.
Hi, I'm Samip Narvekar from Bangarbui. When we talk about tourism, policing is the main focus here. If we look at the past incidents where the two incidents were the back-to-back where the tourists were assaulted by
Samir, this is what I just said.
Yeah, so
we need to understand that as there are concerns, we're resolving them also.
No, but do you think that if there was timely intervention by the police, as there was not
I
there
think we are
in
moving
the
off the
past?
topic. I am not here to comment on what went wrong. I think the police investigation will talk about
Any
what
directions
was
were
there.
given to police and all
The Chief
these
Minister
matters?
will address these issues which are related to Home Department. But let us be clear, as media friends, we need to first put positives together and promote it, rather than talking about the areas which definitely need concentrated effort to make it things right, whether it is the traffic police or the home department, which is the chief minister, he will address the issues.
And you think about the toolkit, the Chinese toolkit. So why this Chinese toolkit is so much interested in Goa for spreading this false propaganda, as you say?
I just told you that anything propaganda is a good propaganda for those people. And it can't be a better place than using Goa as a name. So I think Goa, we have given you the numbers to all the people who tried to malign Goa. I think we have given you the facts and figures on a conservative side. Now let's talk about quality over quantity. Let's improvise a lot of things. Let's adapt to technology and make this 2025 more better as a tourism destination with the support of all of you, including our colleagues in the opposition and all the stakeholders.
So transport is an issue where Goa got a lot of negative publicity. So through this stakeholders meet, could you all discuss on the transport front and how?
As
it
our
can be
director has already spoken, we have had a chat with the taxi operators and the other stakeholders, rent-a-car, everybody. We have to be very clear that technology is here to stay. We cannot run away from it. And whoever does the app, whether they do it or they take our app or whatever it is, app aggregators have to be coming. And I think the coastal MLAs and everybody was quite agreeable along with the chief minister when he had a special meeting to discuss these issues, that technologies have to be adopted. How, which one is something which each one has the thing to decide upon. And I think along with our transport minister and the chief minister, we should be able to soon resolve this issue.
What happened, Ram Anuj Mukherjee's complaint? Ram Anuj Mukherjee's complaint.
It's already laid with the police, ne?
How it is follow up to that?
Now we already complained to the police about the facts and figures, what it is. So anything which gets a bigger highlight than what we are doing, you're highlighting somebody which is not required to be highlighted. So I think let us work together, not highlighting the people who have been trying to make themselves a highlight by maligning our state. I think this has exposed a lot of things for the people who tried to malign Goa. Henceforth, it is a learning for them also, not to play with the Parshuram Bhumi, where Goa is concerned, or Goencha Saibatsa, where we're talking about the blessings of everybody, which always will keep Goa where it is.
Hi, sir. Pavneet from Indian Express. Sir, we keep hearing this term quality over quantity. Has the department come up with some sort of a definition that quality means a certain number of per capita spend or something? And just another follow-up. So the 3% rise in foreign tourists, do we have breakup of like which countries are prominent or not?
We can share the data with you as far as the international is concerned, from which markets they've been coming. As far as your question on quality over quantity, we came with two things when this government came in 2022. The coast was getting overcrowded, overpopulated. So as we were promoting the coast and the thought about a party life, we spoke about regenerative tourism, we spoke about sustainable tourism, and we spoke about Goa beyond beaches. And at the same time, we started talking about quality over quantity. Somebody talks about Amitabh Khan's statement to be the statement about it. We respect Amitabh Khan's thought process and we'll definitely take his inputs. But taking his one-liner and trying to criticize Goa when you are a Goan does not talk about the Goanness in you. So you have to understand that if somebody is given a suggestion, we are sitting here to take it. We are not repelling it. We are working on it sincerely. At the same time, quality over quantity is a very clear visionary statement for which every stakeholder, everybody whom we are talking to, we have started working things around them. So government is a facilitator. We need to ensure that the new tourism services come in, new infrastructure comes in, new marketing, new emerging markets, everybody is connected to, so that we have this statement right. At the same time, the laws in place to weed out the people who have no love for our ecology nor our culture and leave a footprint that we wouldn't respect. So there are concerns which everything cannot be shared today, but the plan is on as far as quality over quantity is concerned, and you will find it happening because we have the abilities of our stakeholders who have been a part of the industry for decades, and they have been contributors to making this happen, and we will make it happen.
Sir, Tukaram Marathi from Prime TV. Department अगर किती डेटा असतो की फॉरेन टुरिस्ट गोंयच्या खंयच्या प्लेसीस चड विजीट केला आनी कितलो फिगर आसा
कितें कितें
फॉरेन टुरिस्ट खंयच्या स्पॉटार म्हणजे गोंयच्या खंयच्या एरियान चड विजीट केला
फॉरेन टुरिस्ट खंयच्या जाग्याचेर केल्या म्हणजे वी आर नॉट स्टॉकिंग देम इट इज अप टू देम टू डिसायड वेर दे वॉन्ट टू ट्रॅवल पण जशें क्वॉलिटी ओवर क्वॉन्टिटी म्हणटा वी नीड टू एन्श्योर दॅट द स्पेंड ऑफ अ टुरिस्ट इन्क्रीज इज इन गोवा ताजो पर डे स्पेंड समज धरलो डॉलरान नाल्यार तो आमी डेटा ऑलरेडी कलेक्शन जो आतां चालू केला ताज्या प्रमाणे वी वील नो हाव वी नीड टू प्लॅन अँड स्ट्रॅटेजायज थँक्यू
On behalf of the association, we would like to thank the department, the director, as well as the Honorable Minister. The first time for a conclave, a minister has sat with us for a whole day and listened to all our inputs. So we're looking for some really concrete action for him. And once again, we thank him for taking an entire day out and sitting to, I think, 6 to 8 sessions wherein a large number of issues were discussed. Thank you, sirs.
Hello. Hi, sir. We have 3 questions from national media. The first question is from Nikita Meshram. She's from BW Travel and BW Hotelier. Her question is, what are the various measures through which Goa Tourism plans to market its diverse offerings to discerning travelers, showcasing Goa's tourism potential has more to offer than just beaches?
I think our marketing strategy is very clear along with our PR team, where we are talking about Goa beyond beaches, touching upon the emerging markets, talking about the new tourism services, talking about Ekadash Tirtha, talking about spirituality, talking about wellness, announcing the areas which we have been coming in, and ensuring that the footfalls which have been coming in already in terms of legacy markets, we are able to touch upon the newer markets. The challenges faced while connecting also has been shared in my press conference just some time back. But I would like to reiterate that the plan is very clear, that it is no longer only the coastline that Goa has been talking about. We are talking about tourism to be inclusive. We are talking about rural tourism, moving rural tourism, for which policies of homestays have been carved out and have been already walking the talk with Airbnb, Make My Trip. At the same time, OTA platforms are helping us promote tourism as far as Goa beyond beaches is concerned. Today we are talking about highlighting the tourism policy which came on as far as caravan is concerned, and we will find some caravans finding space in Goa. So newer tourism services, new appetite for understanding the heritage, culture, festivities of Goa are being bought and showcased so that the tourist has much more to experience, because Goa is no longer a seasonal year. I mean seasonal months. It is a whole year. There is nothing called as off season, and that is why as we work towards it, I'm pretty sure talking to our airline partners, which become the first point in terms of domestic and international connectivity. Second, talking to our hotel partners who need to have the right inventory at the right rates to ensure that we are able to cater to the tourists that we are talking about, and ensuring that as we connect them, the local festivities, cuisine is finding a way for people who come here specially to experience Goa and explore Goa in terms of immersiveness, tranquility, and be more experiential than before.
Sir, the next question is from Nolan Lewis. He's from Soul of Hospitality. His question is, what is Goa Tourism doing to make tourists more respectful of Goa's local communities and cultures?
We already have announced regenerative tourism. We are doing announcements from our side. Now we need to find that as we talk about sustainability, it can be achieved by a responsible tourist. Now, how can we inculcate responsibility in a tourist is only by creating more awareness. We are talking about do's and don'ts in Goa. We are talking about 1364 as a helpline to help him in any concerns that he has. We are here to support him using all aggregators possible. But we cannot educate a person who behaves well internationally, but would not behave in a right manner in his own state or a state he travels within India. That's something which is culturally bound, and we expect responsible tourism to happen in Goa with responsible tourists.
Sir, I have one question, just a follow-up question.
I'll just finish with the third question.
Okay.
So last question, Sudipta Saha, she's from Travel Turtle. Her question is, recently there has been a shift towards partnering with social media influencers to promote destinations. leveraging their vast online reach to connect with the masses rather than relying on traditional marketing mediums. How do you plan to address their claims?
Our PR team has been doing their job in terms of ensuring that we are leveraging ourselves well in terms of the markets that we are positioning ourselves. As we talk about outbound travel to the markets which we need to connect, we are also using the part where we can use influencers which can start talking about our place. Recently, we talked about Goa in a different form with Curly Tales. It gave a different outlook and talked about Goa beyond beaches being seen differently than what Goa is being thought about. Using social media influences, having the right thought of Goa being in markets which we are positioning as we reposition ourselves will definitely be one of the priorities as we talk about moving for trade shows, representing ourselves, showcasing ourselves. We talk about our representing in newer markets with road shows. I think influencers also have a take which will be there in days to come. And I think even as a local influencers that we have in Goa, as they promote Goa in their own way, we will definitely find a platform for social media influencers talking about Goa and taking it to the markets which we have spoken about in our press conference.
Does the board feel the need for having a carrying capacity for Goa, a state with 15 lakh or 16 lakh population receiving 1 crore? Don't you feel that having a carrying capacity data for the state will answer some of these questions that the influencers are saying about the numbers?
I think when we had spoken already about regenerative tourism and sustainable tourism, these are some parts which are being spoken and thought about. As the roadmap comes in, we will talk about it. But in the constitution, there is nowhere that we can define a carrying capacity and put a plug on the number of people who would want to come to Goa. We can definitely look at how to encourage better tourists to come to Goa and weed out the rest in terms of the policies that we create. Thank you.